Welcome back now. Well, who wouldn't like a clean backyard, clean roads and surroundings? But how many of us have actually taken the time to think about where our garbage is going and what's being done with it? Now imagine garbage from another area being dumped in your locality simply because there's no other option. Environmentalists say that there are quite a few other viable alternatives. But is the government listening? Pratiksha Ramkumar brings to us this report. These garbage collection vans are en route Kodangayur and Perungudi, the city's two main dump yards, where nearly 3,000 tons of garbage is dumped every day. Clearly, a health and environment hazard for the residents. Activists say there are alternatives both to reduce and to manage the waste.
Is that there should be decentralized management of waste in which source segregation has to be followed.
Corporation officials, though, say that they have no option but to dump the waste in these two locations. Environmentalists, though, differ.
First thing is that in a city you cannot have some people being treated as second-grade citizens, and people need to be able to live with their garbage or be able to manage their own garbage in a decentralized manner.
Environmentalists say community participation and segregation of waste should be made compulsory. Residents should make manure from their degradable waste and only dispose of the plastic and paper. This model was reportedly successful in the 90s.
Source solid waste management. Source means wherever the garbage is generated, for example a house, school, a college, market, there itself. Then decentralized. What is decentralized? The ward level is a space. The whole thing can be composted and the paper and plastic can be segregated, can be sent to recycling industry. Balance is centralized solid waste management.
Experts also propose an integrated plant capable of breaking down even the inorganic compounds and producing fuels. But the emissions from such an exercise is a cause of concern.
Residents and environmental activists are actually having a conference in October, mainly to showcase alternate options of solid waste management. But if these alternatives will successfully woo the Chennai Corporation and end this tug of war is the big question. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar for NDTV Hindu.
Now, the Tamil Nadu police team have bagged the overall championship trophy in the 11th All India Police Rifle and Pistol shooting competition held right here in Chennai. Now, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, J.J. Lalata, presented trophies and medals to the winners. Now, 22 state police teams and 8 central police organizations participated in the 5-day shooting competition. J.J. Lalata announced that she will sanction necessary funds to procure special arms that would enhance the capabilities of the Tamil Nadu police.
I have no doubt that given the resources and encouragement, the Tamil Nadu police can match and excel any other police force in the world. I'm sure that in the near future, the Tamil Nadu police will be the benchmark for policing.
Well, meanwhile, the CBI has taken strong exception to media reports last week suggesting that the agency had given a clean chit to Dayanidhi Maran in the 2G spectrum scam. Now, CBI counsel Venugopal told Supreme Court that media reports that the CBI had given Maran a clean chit are in fact incorrect. The CBI says there's evidence that there was an inordinate and deliberate delay in issue of license to SL by the DOT, that there was undue favour shown to SL once Maxis bought it, and that Maxis owner was in touch with Maran and his brother before the sale. Now, sources, however, close to Maran say that they are confident that he will come out clean. In some national updates now, the CAG audit report on Air India, which has been tabled in Parliament today, indicted the Civil Aviation Ministry. Now, the CAG says crores were wasted in the purchase and leasing of aircrafts, and that was the basic reason which crippled Air India. Now, speaking to NDTV, Sandeep Phukan, the former Civil Aviation Minister Praful Patel says the CAG report is full of contradictions.
The CAG Air India audit tabled in Parliament today slammed the Civil Aviation Ministry for wasting crores in the purchase and leasing of aircrafts, citing that as the main reason which crippled Air India. The report slammed the contract with Airbus as defective, leading to a loss of 200 crore rupees. But the Civil Aviation Ministry blamed Air India for the loss.
आज संसद में CAG का प्रतिवेदन सिविल एविएशन पर दिया गया है और जो प्रतिवेदन CAG के द्वारा सदन के पटल पर रखा गया, इसमें वो तमाम तथ्य उजागर हुए हैं जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी समय समय पर उठाती रही और CAG ने इंडियन एयरलाइंस और एयर इंडिया के मर्जर पर सवाल उठाए हैं। CAG ने जो बड़े पैमाने पर बड़ी संख्या में जो हवाई जहाज खरीदे गए उस पर सवाल उठाए हैं। CAG ने जो पिछले मर्जर के बाद जो रिवाइवल का प्लान था उस पर सवाल उठाए हैं और आज इस CAG के रिपोर्ट से ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि सिविल एविएशन और विशेष करके एयर इंडिया में लगभग 70,000 करोड़ से भी अधिक, लगभग 78,000 करोड़ के आसपास वित्तीय अनियमितताओं के संदेश या संवाद मिल रहे हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी इस पूरे विषय का गहन अध्ययन करने के पश्चात अपनी टिप्पणी विस्तार तौर से देगी।
The CAG report on the Krishna Godavari gas field was also tabled in the Parliament today. The report blames the Oil Ministry for bending rules to allow Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries to benefit at the cost of the government. The report says Reliance hoarded contract area despite lack of exploration rigs and extended contracts violating production sharing norms. The CAG reports also blamed Director General of Hydrocarbons for not stopping RIL from hoarding land at the basin.
Amar Singh will stay in jail tonight. That's the court. That comes after the court hearing. His interim bail plea today adjourned the hearing till tomorrow. The court asked the medical update on Amar Singh and asked if Tihar jail, where he's lodged currently, could provide him with the requisite care. Amar Singh has already spent 2 nights in Tihar. He has been charge-sheeted in the cash for vote scam. In the last hearing, Amar Singh's lawyer told the court that he was unwell and required constant medical supervision. In news now from the Delhi blasts, one more person who was critically injured in yesterday's bomb blasts at one of the gates of the Delhi High Court has died. Now, the 40-year-old man from a Delhi suburb died in hospital, taking the number of deaths up to 12. Now, 73 people have been injured so far. Many of these individuals are said to be in a critical condition. Most of the injuries sustained by the blast victims are said to be waist downwards, as the bomb was placed on the ground, probably in a briefcase. Well, continuing with the Delhi blast story, the Delhi High Court blast is the first terror attack to be handed over to the National Investigation Agency. On the very first day, the NIA team was at the blast site this morning searching for clues. But so far, the investigations have not made much headway. There are still no clear leads. Even the email purportedly sent by the Bangladesh-based terror group Huji may have just been a prank. Now, NDTV has learnt that it has traced the email to a cyber cafe in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, police are now learnt to have questioned the owner. He is believed to have told the police that the youth may have sent that email. The police are now looking for the suspect. Well, the Congress President Sonia Gandhi is back in the country after surgery in the United States. Now, she returned in the early hours of the morning and is said to be fine. The Congress has not disclosed the details of what the surgery was about. In Mrs. Gandhi's absence, meanwhile, Operation Control of the Congress Party was looked after by Rahul Gandhi and senior leaders such as A.K. Anthony, Ahmed Patel and Janardhan Dwivedi. Well, time now for a very short break. We'll be back with more updates on the other side.